This is the Playhouse, and these are hunting stories. Now, I film so much, it's absolutely ridiculous. No one would ever want to see most of it, even me. But there is stuff that I find while I'm out hunting and filming that don't make it to the episodes of Hunting Nostalgia. Or it's something that I get and then find out later what it is. Today, I have two mysteries. Two solved mysteries that didn't make it into an episode of Hunting Nostalgia. Briefly, I discussed the mystery of the small blue, what I thought was a Kenner Star Wars globe that I found in the butthole of my Rancor. I'm not trying to be a creep, but he was literally inside of the butthole. There's a hole in where his tail is in the Rancor. See the Rancor tail? There's a hole right here. And that's where this globe was lodged. And I'm the only person who have ever owned this toy. I'm the only person. I opened this for my birthday in 1986. I opened it up. And it broke. And inside was something crazy that I've asked Star Wars fans, Star Wars collectors, every Star Wars person I've ever known, I've asked about this globe over the past couple years. It was seriously a mystery that was driving me insane. Everybody I asked, they'd never seen this globe. And I could swear it was from Star Wars. I could swear it had that very specific Star Wars accessory blue. But before I get into that, in the words of the March Hare, start at the beginning.
Yes, and when you get to the end, stop. See?
Now, I love Alice in Wonderland. There is honestly no story in the world, not Star Wars, not anything. There is no story that I love more than Alice in Wonderland. I've read it a million times. I've seen almost every single version you could imagine of Alice in Wonderland. It captivates me. That idea of the imagination can do that is absolutely compelling in every single way, shape, and form. So, this is the first mystery. This is the first mystery that I always thought was, fake. I always thought it was a myth. I thought it was a fairy tale. But I heard that not only did Walt Disney create Alice in Wonderland and put it in movie form for us all to enjoy, but he also illustrated and wrote the rest of Alice's story, Alice in the Looking Glass. Okay, that he wrote all of that and had it all ready, but 115 minutes, whatever it is, in Alice in Wonderland, they condensed it down, so it was perfect. Love it. There's very few things that are better in the Alice world than the Disney version of Alice in Wonderland. But this book was on a rack at a store called Half Price Books, which is an awesome place. If you have one around you, you never know what's there. There's wrestling magazines, there's VHS tapes. There's so much awesome stuff at Half Price Books. It's not a pitch for them. But I saw this book, and I pulled it off the shelf. And the first thing, I knew that this was not an image from Alice in Wonderland. And Alice's Favorites, to me, I was like, what the heck is Alice's Favorites? You know what I mean? I was going to buy it no matter what it was. But the first thing I noticed is Alice's hair in this picture. There's no, what is it, a bonnet? No. There's no ribbon. Idiot. There's no ribbon in Alice's hair. First off, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous that I know this. But Alice should not be wearing a ribbon in Wonderland. Period. She should. It's actually part of the story and her progression in her imagination and her maturity in this story that her hair in Wonderland, her hair is just a mess. She has no ribbon. She has nothing like that in her hair. It's just a big, crazy mess. She's just a little girl. That's what they keep telling her. She's a little girl. She's too little. Can't have tea. Can't do this. You're too little. That's what they keep telling Alice. Her hair's all crazy. She can't go to tea with her mother. I was like, what is that? Why is she not wearing that? This is the famous image of Alice. Boom, right there. This is not it. It's creepy. That's a different Alice. And I knew this was something weird. I knew. And I grabbed it and I opened this up. And the first thing that I saw, the very first thing that I opened to was a Looking Glass story. An Alice in the Looking Glass story, which I did not believe existed. The Lion and the Unicorn. Okay? Now Alice has her ribbon, because when Alice wakes up in her dream of leaves at the end of Alice in Wonderland, she wakes up and she's in Looking Glass land. And she's matured, though. She's matured now. And she has her hair combed. She gets ready. She has the ribbon and all of that. That's when the ribbon comes in. And Alice she's now mature. But she's not at home yet. She's still in Looking Glass land. And that's a whole other story. The story, actually, where you see Tweedledee and Tweedledum. The Walrus and the Carpenter. All of that stuff. Humpty Dumpty. All of that stuff was in the Looking Glass land. There is a story which you never find out. It's hard to remember the movie of the cartoon and the stage versions and all of that. But there is a trial going on at the end of the movie, the Disney movie, and the trial is for Alice. That's not what was going on. The trial was for the Knave of Hearts, who stole the tots from the Queen, you know. That's what the trial was. And Alice was just there, just causing trouble in the actual story. So that's how they mushed that in, and they cut that part out. But, and I'm sorry, I know. I care about this so much because it's Disney history, it's Alice history, it's nostalgia, it's everything. I know that not everyone's going to care about Alice in Wonderland, but the story of the Knave of Hearts stealing those tarts is in this book. The dodo and the Queen. The dodo meeting the Queen is in this. Look, these images, they don't exist anywhere, but in this book. They don't exist in film anywhere. Look, all different stories with the Hatter and the March Hare. It's unbelievable. And it is proof. It's absolute. Look, there they are. That's when Alice meets Tweedledee and Tweedledum in Looking Glass land. That's when they tell her that they think of, how can we keep her here the longest? So they think of the longest possible poem they could tell her. And it's The Walrus and the Carpenter. That is all in the Looking Glass land. And this book is absolute 100% proof. I now have it forever, that all of the other stories of Alice were actually written. They were written. They're somewhere out there. Alice in the Looking Glass land, it can be made instead of those. I don't even know what those were. I don't even know what those Alice movies were. I love Johnny Depp and his Captain Jack's. It was awful. But that was one solved mystery. Solved. Done. Can't believe it exists. Now I gotta find more. I gotta find out more about that. On to the second mystery. This is the one that people... I had to talk about the Alice stuff before the Star Wars stuff, because I knew you wouldn't listen to the Alice stuff. So, this Rancor busted. In there, I found this globe. Like, what is that? It's so Star Warsy. Star Wars-ish. What is that globe? What is it? Drives me crazy. So I'd ask all of the Star Wars people, everybody I could think of, my uncle, everybody I could think of, I asked, what is this stupid globe? For years, I asked what it was. And then last week, I released the Halloween episode. We released the Halloween episode of Hunting Nostalgia. And today, in my office, I have two brothers and a sister. And my youngest brother, he is considerably younger than me. By the time he was old enough to remember, I was already in college and gone. He comes strolling in to my office this morning with the biggest smile you could imagine on his face. And all he does, he looks at me and he holds up a second mystery Star Wars Rancor Butthole Globe. And I said, what is that? And he just says, I've known all along. And he walks out of my office. It was maddening. So, I'm going to go back a tiny bit before that. My mother, who is the reason for all of this, she is the reason I appreciate nostalgia. She's the reason. She is the reason, main reason. She used to love a game in the 60s. It was from the 60s, and she would play it. It was called Feely Mealy. It's a creepy name. But what you would do is you would reach inside of like a bucket or a little, I don't know what it was, a dome or whatever. And you would get a card and you would look for a different item. This is a remake of that game called The Touch. Equally as creepy of a name as Feely Mealy. Feely Mealy. But, so this game, look, you see all the different pieces. Guess what was one of the pieces? This globe was one of the pieces in this game. So I'm going to put it back in here because now I know it's not a little globe, a clump of plastic from the Kenner factory that just got lodged in the butthole of my Rancor. No. Reach in, feel around. The Touch game. I can't find it now. Stupid game. Hate it. Hate it. And you pull out the Star Wars Rancor Butthole Globe. Not the best mystery ever. But now I know. Whenever I went off to college, my brother was at home playing with all of my Star Wars toys. And evidently, he thought that this globe would fit real well in my Rancor's mouth. What a massive disappointment, but still, how cool is that? One day I walk in at Half Price Books and find I'm going to say an absolute icon of a Disney piece I paid $2 for. Solve that, but... Next time on Hunting Stories, who knows what ridiculousness I'm going to find? Who knows what absurd thing I'm going to talk about? There's a lot of fun things down here in the Playhouse. Keep watching Hunting Nostalgia. Thanks for joining me on Hunting Stories.